Lam, Ain, Wa, Ba, Ya, Ta. دروس في العربية.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وحييكم يا أيها الإخوان والأخوات بتحية الإسلام فأقول السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. May the peace, mercy and blessings of Allah be upon you. I thank you very much, my beloved brothers and sisters, for tuning in to our program where I am coming to you live at the Tin television station, and we are continuing with lessons in Arabic, durusun fil lughatil arabiyyah. We have spent about 11 sessions so far trying to learn how to read the Arabic text. And Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah, we have completed that part of the Arabic language. Today, inshallah, we embark on a new aspect of the Arabic language. And in this series, inshallah, we will be going straight into the language where the person or the student, inshallah, will be trying to learn the rules of Arabic grammar and also trying to speak. Like any other language, there are 4 basic skills that must be covered in learning that language. So we're talking about reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And I also want to let you know, my beloved brothers and sisters, that from today onwards, inshallah, the lines will be open for you. If you have any questions that you would like to ask with regards to what I'm teaching, inshallah, you will be free to call in at the station, inshallah, where I will try and attempt to answer your questions, inshallah. All right, so inshallah, what you would need to have is you will need to have a copybook and a pencil so that you will be taking your notes, inshallah, and there will be lots of rules of grammar that you will have to learn, inshallah, because the Arabic language, of course, is a language that is not spoken in these parts of the world, and the probability and the likelihood of you forgetting your rules will be, to a great extent, and hence the reason you would need to take some notes, inshallah. All right, and the notes will be important for you to follow up for future classes, inshallah, because time and time again we will be making reference to those notes. So I want to thank you again for tuning in, and we start first of all today with the structure of the Arabic language. So first of all, I'm going to write 2 words here, and I hope inshallah by now you will be able to read these 2 words. And you look at the letters carefully, see what you can make out from them. Okay? And inshallah I will be putting in, inshallah, the vowels for you. Okay? So that it will become easier for you to read. Okay? Good. So we have a fatha here, shadda here, dhamma there, fatha, dhamma, sukoon, fatha, kasra, fatha here, shadda here, fatha, and dhamma. Okay? Good. So what we have here, alif, lam, and another lam, the letter ghain, ta marbuta. Okay, just in case you have forgotten the ta, all right, just write a little here, T-A-A, ta. You have 2 kinds of ta. One is called ta maftuha, which is an open ta, and this one is called ta marbuta, which is a closed up ta. It can be written like this, and if it is attached to the previous letter, then this will be the attachment line, and then it is written like this. So what we have here in this word is this one, and this is the attachment line here. Okay? So this and this is the same, because if you look carefully, it's the same thing there. Just the attachment goes like that. Okay? So there are two kinds of ta. This one is called ta maftuha. All right? I'll write it like this for you. Maftuha. Maftuha. Which means opened. Okay? You can see it's open here. On top it's opened. Whereas this one here, it's closed up. So it is as if you have taken this end and bring it together, and it's closed up. So this one is called mar, bu, and ta. Mar, bu, ta. Marbuta, which means closed. All right, or tied. From rabata. Rabata means to tie, marbut means close or tied up. Okay? Yes, so we come back here to this ta. Notice here the lam, the first lam has no vowel. And this is a rule that we did in the previous session. Okay? The previous session we talked about sun letters and moon letters. So you had the alphabet. Remember quickly. We're just making a quick thing. We had sun letters, all right? And you have moon letters, 14 of them here, and we have 14 of them on this side, okay? The sun letters are those letters. If a noun begins with any one of them, the alif lam, the lam of the definite article, is silent. It is not pronounced, okay? So the 14 letters, I hope inshallah that you can remember those 14 letters, starting with the letter ta, and then tha, all right? And then you skip some, then you have dal, dhal, ra, zai, sin, shin, sad, dot, ta, tha, ain, up to dha, not ain, up to the letter dha, okay? So you have 10 letters there. You have 10 letters here, you have 2 here, and then you have lam and noon. Remember, you're having lam, L-A-M-B, right, at noon. So it's easy to remember. 14 letters. If you have a word beginning with any one of these 14 letters, then, and you have the alif lam at the beginning of the word as a prefix, all right, then the lam will be silent. So come back here to this word now. Let's go back to this word here. So we have alif lam, which is the definite article. And immediately after that, we have the letter lam. So this is actually the word. Lam, ghain, and ta. Okay? So the lam is one of the 14 letters. Okay? So that means this lam here will be silent. Let me use the next color pen. So this lam is not pronounced. So from here, we go straight to this word. We say al. Al, okay, we join the alif to the lam. Al, and lam dhamma is lu. Al, lu. Ghain fatha is gha. Al, lu, gha. Ta, dhamma, join to the lam here. Tul. Al, lu, gha, tul. Ain fatha a. And then you have a ra, fatha ra. A, ra. Ba, kesra, joined to the ya, b, and then ya, fatha is ya, arabiya, and ta dhamma is 2. Notice here, this lam, that lam here, we have a sukoon. The reason is, again, we have alif lam beginning the word as a prefix, and then we have the letter ain. Ain is not one of the 14 letters here, the sun letters. Ain is not included, okay? So ain belongs to moon letters. So when the word begins with a moon letter, the lam takes a sukoon. Okay, hence the reason you have a sukoon on the lam. Next time when you go to the Quran, inshallah, and you read the Quran, you look out for where you will see there is a shadda after the alif lam, and where you will see a sukoon on the lam. Okay? So you will understand then, therefore, why you have a shadda on the letter coming after the lam and why you may have a sukoon on the lam. All right? So here we have a sun letter, here we have a moon letter. Okay. There is another rule of reading that you must know, and that is whenever you have the ta marbuta, which is the small ta, the closed up ta, the ta marbuta, all right? If you have ta marbuta, you must know a few things about ta marbuta. Ta marbuta comes only at the end of a word. Ta marbuta comes only at the end of a word. That's the first thing you should know. Ta marbuta cannot come in the middle of a word, nor can it come at the beginning of a word, only at the end of a word. That's the first thing you need to know about this ta. The second thing that you need to know about the ta is that in most cases, the presence of the ta indicates that the word is a noun. It is a feminine noun. As long as it has a ta, it is a noun. The small ta, the ta marbuta, it indicates that the word is a noun. But in most cases, it also tells you that the noun is of the feminine gender. Okay? I say in most cases because there are some nouns that may have the ta marbuta, but it may not necessarily be of the feminine gender. Words like Usama and Talha and Hamza and so on, these are names of male people. So then, they already indicates that it is masculine, the word Khalifa, and so on. So you have some exceptional words that may have the ta marbuta, but yet it is feminine. But other than that, the word is considered to be a feminine noun. Additionally, you should know that when you have the ta marbuta, go back to the word here, al-lughatul arabiyyah, whenever you have the ta marbuta, the letter that comes immediately before will always carry a fatha vowel. Okay? So if that is the case, then we may not necessarily have to write it. Okay? So sometimes I may leave it out deliberately so that you could remember that rule. Whenever you have ta marbuta, there will always be a fatha before. Okay? There will always be a fatha before. Okay? We have learned previously that if the word has alif lam, then the noun will take a single vowel, dhamma. Okay? So that's the reason we have a dhamma there. Okay, so that's what you need to know about this word so far. We can talk a lot. The whole class can be about these two words, but we have some other things, important things that we want to talk about tonight. I want to really look at the structure of the Arabic language, and then we're going to see how we're going to start learning this language. So, like any other language, we have the parts of speech. All right, in the English language, we have about 8 parts of speech. All right, we have the verb, and we have the noun. You have adverb, you have pronouns, you have adjectives, and you have prepositions, you have conjunctions, and you have interjections. 8 of them. But in the Arabic language, all we have is 3 parts of speech. Okay? So, the first one is the noun in no specific order. So you have noun, and you have verb, and you have particles. Okay? Noun, verb, and particles. Okay? These are the 3 parts of speech that you have in the Arabic language. Now, under nouns, we have words that will go with nouns. So we could have pronouns. All right? And then you have other words that go with nouns. You have adjectives. All right? Adjectives. Verb stand by itself. And the particles, as the word itself suggests, they are tiny words. Okay? So you have words like prepositions. You have conjunctions. All right? And you have interjections. All right? And you have adverb could come across here. Now, adverb really should go with verbs because they tell us a little bit more about the verbs. But adverbs, they come under noun because of certain characteristics that they may have, which look more like the nouns. And we will talk about all of them later on, inshallah. And then under pronoun, of course, you will have different kinds of pronouns. Like you have demonstrative pronouns, you have personal pronouns, you have relative pronouns, all right? Personal pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, all kinds of pronouns, all right? And you have different kinds of adjectives. So all of these. So what we want to do, so we have three parts of speech, right? Noun, verb, and particles, all right? And under them now, if we were to count all of them together, we will have the 8 in the English language. So we have, let's say, 1, 2. This is not 1 in English language. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 8 parts of speech. And this is how they fit under these 3 main headings or parts of speech. So what we want to start our session with regards to the language is that we want to start with nouns. Okay, so I'm going to take this away. I hope, inshallah, that you have made some notes there. I want to start with nouns today. All right? And what we want to talk about nouns is that we want to know some of the characteristics and the visible signs so that when we see these signs on the words, okay, we can say for sure that these words, they are nouns. Okay, so we have nouns. The noun. And we are talking about the characteristics and the visible signs of the nouns. 1. I'm going to write it in Arabic because we want to practice the Arabic writing and also the Arabic reading at the same time while we are learning the rules. All right, we would also revise our reading. Okay, so we have ta and a noon sakina. So we have tan, and this is a waw with a kesra, and it is lengthened with a long vowel, so it's we, and then we have a noon. So it's tanween, tanween. Can you remember the word tanween and what it means and what it indicates? Remember, it is the double vowel, all right? So you have tanween damma, you have tanween kesra, and you have tanween fatha, all right? This is tanween. Tanween damma, tanween kasra, and tanween fatha. Okay? Can you recall when we were talking about tanween? Tanween, I had mentioned, it is a sign that comes only at the end of a word, and it indicates that the word is a noun. Okay? Tanween comes at the end of a word, and it indicates that the word is a noun. So as long as you see tanween, the word can only be a noun. The word cannot be a verb, and that word cannot be a particle. It can only be a noun. So this is one of the visible signs. Whenever you see it, you can know for sure that that word is a noun. Now, as I'm talking about tanween, I would also like to bring to our attention something that we hear a lot on a daily basis. If you're a Muslim, of course, you might be hearing it and you might be saying it, but may not be, conscious of the fact that there are some changes that occur on a single word. And now we want to look at, let's say, this word, Muhammad. Muhammad. Okay? Muhammad. I'm going to write it 3 times. All right? Notice the ha is also written differently here. the attachment. So you're kind of getting a revision on that writing also. All right? Write it this way. It can also be written like this. Okay. Muhammad. All right, I'm going to use a different color of pen here because this is what our focus is on. We have Muhammadun, and you could have Muhammadin, and you could also have Muhammadan. Okay, so there are three variations on the noun. Now it doesn't go only for Muhammad, but many nouns, this is how, they have what you call cases. The nouns have different cases. Okay, just like verbs have different moods and different tenses, nouns have what we call cases. Like this is said to be the nominative case, this is genitive case, this is accusative case or the objective case. They all have names in Arabic. This is called raf', and this is called jar, this is called nasb. Okay, the names so far is not so important for you to remember, but what I want you to focus on is that Muhammadun, you could also have Muhammadin or Muhammadan. All right, and this is all dependent on how the word occurs in a sentence. Okay, and they're based on certain grammatical rules, certain rules that will govern these words, and they may cause changes. In the English language, of course, we don't see those changes occurring on nouns. Okay, but let's say, for example, this statement, where you say La ilaha illallah, and then you say Muhammadun Rasulullah. All right, you could go on this side. La ilaha illa Allah, and then you have Muhammadun Rasulullah. Okay, La ilaha illallahu Muhammadun Rasulullah. Okay, this is what is called kalimatu shahada or kalimatu tawheed. All right, this is the first pillar of Islam. Okay, and it basically translates there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So in this statement, we say Muhammadun Rasulullah. All right, when we perform our salah, we say in one part of our prayer, okay, in the sitting position, all right, we say Allahumma salli ala Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin, and we continue Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin. And then we also have, let's say, for example, in the adhan, we have ashhadu ashhadu, bring it closer here, anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasul Allah. Okay, so we say Muhammadan. Okay, so sometimes you say Muhammadun, sometimes you say Muhammadin, and sometimes you may say Muhammadan. Why is there a change on the noun? The changes normally will occur at the ending vowel. Okay, only at the ending you will have the vowels changing sometimes. And the reason for that is that in the first instance here, okay, here it's more in a nominative sense. This one here, it is because it is preceded by a preposition. And prepositions, they will cause the noun to carry some changes, which says that the preposition causes the noun to be in the genitive case. And here is a particle, all right, which is an emphatic, it is a particle that is not emphatic, but it is a particle that causes the noun to go in the accusative case. Anna meaning that. Anna means that. T-H-A-T, right? And I indicated in the last session that you have that. You have many kinds of that is used in the English language differently, all right? It could use as a conjunction, and it could also use as a relative pronoun, and it can also be used as a demonstrative pronoun, that. All right? In this case, it is a conjunction. Okay, so our focus here is on the case of the noun. So tanween indicates that the word is the word that has a tanween. It is a noun. It cannot be anything else but a noun. All right? That is one of the visible signs. When you see that tanween, you would remember that it is a noun. A next visible sign is the beginning of the word. You may see alif and lam, which is a prefix. All right? It's a prefix. Can be translated as the. All right? Al. Sometimes the lam would carry a sukoon, and sometimes it may not see the sukoon. You may see a shadda on the next letter, as we have seen right here. Okay, the lam has no vowel, nothing on it, but here the lam has a sukoon. So whether it has a sukoon above it, or it carries nothing, but the mere fact that it begins, the word itself begins with alif and lam, okay, then it is one of the other characteristics of the noun. All right? So those are two visible signs that you can see for the noun. All right? Inshallah, we will take a break now, inshallah. And remember that the lines will be open. The lines will be open. If you want to find out anything, something is not so clear for you and you need for me to explain it once again, you can feel free to call in. The numbers, inshallah, will be placed on the screen. All right, so we take a short break, inshallah. Try to digest what we have just explained, and soon we will be back. Allahu, Allahu, Ya Rabbi, Ya Allah. Allahu, Ya Rabbi, Ya Allah.
When we can do Qurbani, right, and we can get our family involved in the Qurbani, and we could come together with them, it's a great thing, because that's a moment of a unique moment for all of us when we involve in doing this thing for the pleasure of Allah.
There are three main bodies of the Jews, right? There's the Orthodox Jews, the Reformed Jews, and the Conservative Jews. And they all have different opinions about what could be allowed as kosher and so on. For example, the Reformed Jews, they allow the skin of the pig to be kosher. So you'll find some gelatin, kosher gelatin, made from pig skin. And that's why kosher gelatin, we don't allow it even in things like Yoplait yogurt.
So sometimes people have wealth, in the bank in a fixed deposit, and together with that money in the bank, their own money, let's call it the capital, the amount they put in, there would have been a lot of interest on that. Now zakat cannot be paid on that interest, because if you do that, you will be paying zakat on haram wealth.
O you who believe, save yourselves and your families from the fire of hell.
The Sharia states that the Muslim is one who submits his total will to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allah says in the Holy Quran, Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Every soul shall have a taste of death. That is a reality.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a nutshell, as a prerequisite even for those words that we would say, the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Welcome back, and now I'm going to prepare our stuff for our broccoli and cream sauce, and then I'm going to do the stuff for our Spanish rice. So here I have a bunch of broccoli. I cut off the tip.
Welcome back to TI and the Islamic Network News Review. The German Chaos Computer Club has uncovered 2 recent instances of police using Trojan spying programs on the computers of suspects they later arrested.
Can you guess where I'm going? That's right, to the masjid. A masjid is a very special place.
Prophet Ibrahim as a young boy was brought up in an environment of idols and idol worship. Even his own father used to make and worship idols.
I understand your distress, but their soldiers did not give us any chance. They made a sudden attack upon us in our ambuscade and took over our weapons and gear and captured our best soldiers.
This is God's will, and we must not object it. This is God's right, who created us, showered us with His goodness, and gave us all these blessings.
Muhammadun Rasulullah. الكون يا شمس الدجى قل لي بماذا أستقي كلماتي قل لي لعل الشعر يعجز من
Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome brothers and sisters. We continue with lessons in Arabic at Tin TV station, and we are looking at the noun today, and we have been looking so far at some of the distinguishing qualities of and attributes of the noun. So far I have spoken about 2 characteristics of the noun. First one is the tanween. Tanween can only come at the end of a word. As long as you see any one of this, like this double, or this one, or this one, then you will know the word is a noun. If you notice a word beginning with alif and lam, that also is a sign that the word is a noun. We would look now at the third characteristic of the noun, and possibility. That one is the possibility of a preposition coming before, right? Preceded by a preposition. Now this one here seems to be a little bit confusing, because a preposition is a word that I, as a beginner of the language, say, well, I don't know what is a preposition. I don't know what is a conjunction. I don't know what is a verb. And now you're telling me that if I want to recognize a noun, then if I see a preposition coming before, then you would know, okay, that word that comes afterwards is a noun. It's like, you know, I'm telling you, you're going to the airport to collect someone, and then you were told that, okay, if you need to know this person, you will, when the person comes out, he will be standing next to Mohamed. But you don't know who is Mohamed, so how are you going to identify the person if you don't know who is Mohamed? You don't know the person already, and I'm telling you, okay, the person will be standing next to Mohamed. You know how? So you're telling me now that, you know, a preposition, if you see a preposition coming before a word, that word will be a noun. Okay? So the clarity, how do I explain this? It's very simple. Prepositions in the Arabic language, they are very few. There are just about 15 of them. All right, some of the books of grammar might mention about 17, but basically about 15 of them. And because they are very few, okay, they can be learnt of very easily. And inshallah, in very near future, we will be looking at some of the prepositions. So as long as you have any one of these are just guidelines for you to recognize a noun. What I would also like to mention and state at this point in time, as I'm talking about nouns, that if there is a word and that word doesn't have the tanween, or it doesn't have al, and it doesn't have a preposition, it does not mean to say that the word cannot be a noun. The word can still be a noun. But why I'm saying that these are the characteristics of a noun is that if you were to see a word with tanween, you can be sure that that word can only be a noun. It cannot be a verb, and it cannot be a preposition, a particle. If you see a word beginning with al, it can only be a noun. It can't be any other part of speech. And likewise, if you have a preposition, then the word that follows the preposition has to be a noun. It has to be. Can't be nothing else. And even in the English language, we know prepositions are little words that go with nouns. This is how we learn preposition. Prepositions are words that go with nouns. Prepositions do not go with verbs. All right? So these are the three things I would like for you to remember, inshallah. And now we want to see if we can make some very simple sentences. Simple sentences. All right? And with these sentences, inshallah, we will have tanween on them. So the first word in a sentence, let's say we have the word. Can you recognize that letter? And this one with the dot. And we have an alif here. And this one also has an alif, but this is a small alif on top. Okay? This word is hava. Hava. Okay? Normally, it would have been written like this. Ha, and then the. But the Arabs don't write it like this. Even though it is pronounced like this, ha, the, but they do not write it like this. They would write it like this one here. And perhaps the reason for that is because of speed writing. Arabs don't normally write with vowels. They don't put in all of these vowels here. They read it correctly without the vowels. All of these vowels were just put in for people like me and you who are now learning to read Arabic. All right? So these vowels were just put in for beginners, for the non-Arabs. Okay? So in speed writing, it is faster to attach the ha to the vowel. And also taking into consideration that there would not be another word if the ha were to attach to it. It can only be hadha. Hadha is the simple demonstrative pronoun. It is singular, masculine, demonstrative pronoun for near objects. And the feminine for this is this other one. Okay? Written like this. Ha, vi, he. So both of them, they mean this. They both mean this. This one here is masculine, and this one here is feminine. How do we pronounce? Hadha, hadha. Make sure you pronounce it correctly. All right, look at my tongue. The. The tongue goes between the upper incisors and the lower incisors. The. We have spoken a lot about the letter val. It is the one that comes after dal. Val. Hadha. Hadha. Ha is lengthened. Hadha. I want you to have it correctly. I don't want you to learn it wrong and then you will have to relearn the same thing. That is more tedious. So make sure you have it correctly from the first time. Hadha. Hadha. And the feminine? Hadhihi. 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 Okay? Both of them, they mean this. Hadha is masculine. Hadhihi is feminine. Inshallah, in our next session for next week, inshallah, we will be looking at the different genders. And we will talk a little bit about the genders in the Arabic language. And then we will also learn to identify feminine nouns. So for today, we just look at هذا, and we would look at some simple sentences. هذا, هذا, okay, هذا. See if you could figure out the letters. So I'm writing them. 1 dot below, you should know that already. 2 dots below, you should also know that. And 2 dots on top. So you have هذا بيت. هذا بيت. Okay, so this, we write it here, this. And then we have baytun means a house. This is what we are seeing here. هذا baytun. Baytun means a house, and هذا means this. Where is the verb to be? Is. The verb to be is understood. The Arabs do not use the verb to express. They do not verbalize the verb to be in the simple present tense. It is only verbalized, or it is only mentioned when it is in the perfect tense. Okay? If you will say, this was a house. So if it's the perfect tense, then they will express it. But as long as it is in the simple present tense, they do not express it. They just leave it like that. So هذا, this, a house. Translation, this is a house. Is, you do not see it, but it is understood from the statement. So it is a complete sentence, right? It means this is a house. هذا is masculine. Okay, so we are saying now that the word bait is a noun that is of the masculine gender. In English language, of course, we know that house is neuter gender, but we will talk about the gender, inshallah, for next class, next week, inshallah. So, هذا بيت. I want you to learn these two words. هذا means this, and baytun means a house. Okay, so we're going to change the word bait, and we're going to put another word. All right? We're going to put another word that you perhaps already know. قلم. هذا قلم. This is a pen. Okay? Pen. A pen. This is a pen. هذا قلم. This is a pen. Okay? I also would like to point out that the Arabs normally would ignore the final vowel of the final word in their statement. So instead of saying هذا قلم, if an Arab has to say this sentence, he would not say هذا قلم. What he would say is هذا قلم, qalam, as if to indicate that there is a sukoon on the meme, rather. So what he has done is that they have just left out this completely and taking the last letter, which is the meme, the sound of the letter. So the letter is meme and the sound of the letter is So هذا قلم, qalam. Likewise, the word bait, it's baitun. We say what? Bait. We don't say baitun, we just say bait. All right, just take the sound of the final letter. And likewise, as the Muslims, they are accustomed to this statement here. We say what? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now there is a kasra here, but we do not say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahimi. We don't say mi. We just go what? Him. As if to indicate that there is a sukoon on that. So the final vowel is ignored. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. It's Alameen, but we just say Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. We do not pronounce the final vowel. The only time we pronounce the final vowel is if we are joining to the next. For example, if you want to say this is a pen and a house, okay? All right? So we say هذا قلم وبيت. We pronounce this because now it is not the last word in my speech, in my statement. So I must pronounce this. So I say هذا قلم وبيت. This is my last word, I do not pronounce this. Okay? Okay, I hope inshallah that you understand that rule, simple sentence. And now we still have about 10 minutes or so. If remember, you have the numbers on the screen if you want to find out anything. I know the lesson is very simple, and I hope inshallah it is very clear. I don't see anyone calling in. That's a good sign. It could be two reasons. It's either that you don't understand what is going on, there is no need, so you would know what to ask, or it is very clear, so then there is no need to ask. Anyway, I hope inshallah it is the latter one and not the former one. Now we have, let's look at this sentence again. هذا This is a word that you have learned from before. هذا كتاب. Okay, this is a book. هذا كتاب. هذا كتاب. هذا كتاب. This is a book. Okay, it's a sentence, a simple sentence. And now we want to make this sentence into a question. Okay, I think we have a caller now. Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. I have a question about the guidelines for recognizing nouns. The first one, if a word possesses a tanween, that word is a noun, right? The tanween has to be at the end of the word, or it could be other parts in the word.
Okay. That's all you have to ask?
Yeah, like, do tanweens come only at the end of nouns, or we use them in other places as well?
All right. Okay, thank you very much for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I did mention a few times before when we were talking about tanween, when I was explaining about tanween in one of the previous sessions, and even tonight, I did mention that tanween only comes at the end of a word. Tanween cannot occur at the beginning of a word, neither can you see a tanween in the middle of a word. Tanween can only come at the end of a word. So the last and final letter of the word, you may see a tanween. If there is a tanween, it will only be at the end of the word and not in the middle of the word. So thank you very much. Now we want to look at the sentence here. We have, this is a book. هذا كتاب. If I want to change this statement or this sentence into a question, it is very simple. Okay, in English language, what we do, we move the verb to be before the demonstrative pronoun, and now it becomes a question. All right, so we say, is this a book? All right, is this a book? And it becomes a question. What the Arabs do, they put an interrogative particle, and it is an alif with a hamza on top. And this statement now becomes a question. All right? أهذا كتاب؟ أهذا كتاب؟ Is this a book? So it's see how easy it is. You have هذا قلم. This is a pen. Is this a pen? You say أهذا قلم؟ أهذا قلم؟ أهذا قلم؟ أهذا, is this? أهذا. So as long as you see it is a question. Does not have a specific translation in the English language. Okay? So in this particular sentence here, or in this particular question, it may seem as though it means is, but does not really translate to is. So how do I explain what is We say is an interrogative particle. It is a particle that is used to ask questions. Okay? Because in other cases, it could be translated as are. It could also be translated as did, or have, or can. depending on the context in which it is used. But in all cases, it will be an interrogative particle. And like a is the word hal. Hal. Hal is also used to ask the question. So I have the option, if I want to say, is this a book? I can say, ahadha kitab? Or I can say, hal hadha kitab? Any one I want to use, that is how I will ask the question. I can say, hal hadha kitab? Or ahadha kitab? So I put an equal sign here. Hal and they are the same. Okay? They are both interrogative particles. Interrogative particles. Alright? They are used to ask questions. Alright? And hal. أأنت قلت للناس اتخذوني وأمي إلهين من دون الله. Allah asked the question. Alright? When on the day of judgment, Allah will ask Prophet Isa alayhi salam, did you tell the people to take me and my mother as two gods? In the Quran also Allah says, Hal ataka hadithul ghashiyah. Hal ataka hadithu Musa. Did the story of Moses come to you? So hal translated as did. Okay, so hal and both are interrogative particles. And hal. Remember them. Remember those two particles. Remember they are used to ask questions. I hope inshallah that you have written it down. Interrogative particles. Or hal. Afahimta dars? Did you understand the lesson? Hal fahimta dars? Alright, so we have simple sentence. So far we have learned how to make a simple sentence, and we have also learned how to ask a question by just putting a or hal in front of the sentence, and it becomes a question. Now a question can also be asked this way by using ma, which means what, and then you have hadha, question mark. Ma means what, and hadha means this. So what is this? Question. It is very important when you're asking questions that you must ask the question in a questioning way, and you should not be asking a question in a telling way. You don't say, what is this? Say, what is this? So, ma hadha. What is this? Ma hadha. So you say it, don't say it like a statement, but make it like a question. Let it sound like a question also. Ahadha qalam? Ahadha qalam? Hal hadha qalam? When you're being asked a question, hal or the answer can be either this word. See if you could pronounce that word, or this one. I like to write the English small because I want you to pay attention more into the Arabic rather than the English. All right? I'm going to take it away now. I want more Arabic on the board, not English, not too much of English. I want you to concentrate on the Arabic. Now this here is, this is lam plus alif equals to this. Remember I told you before, lam plus alif cannot be like this. Okay, this is not correct. The alif goes inside here. So the lam is here and the alif goes here. Okay? Or sometimes it goes and it cuts across and comes back like this. So la, this is la, and this is Na'am. Na'am means yes. La means no. Na'am, yes. Na'am. When you say this word, when you pronounce it, make sure you pronounce it correctly. Don't say Naam, because Naam is Hindi and it is not Arabic. And Naam means name. And it is not Naam, but is Na, and this is Ain. Am, Na'am, Na'am. And this is La, like na, La. It's very easy to remember. La, Na'am. Okay, so see if you could answer this question. All right, I would wish if I could have a class, a live class here in the station, inshallah, so that we could have some students. Right now I'm only talking to the camera. All right, no student here to ask me any question, and nobody to talk to. I'm just talking to the camera. All right, you're a student at home and you're looking at me. All right, so see if you could answer the question. هل هذا كتاب? هل هذا كتاب? What am I asking you? هل, question. هذا كتاب? Is this a book? Say لا, لا. هذا قلم. So la you negate first. You say no, la, la. And then you say what it is. After you negate, you say what it is. You say هذا قلم. هذا قلم. أهذا قلم? أهذا قلم? Is this a pen? أهذا قلم? نعم, نعم, هذا قلم. نعم, هذا قلم. I want you to practice, inshallah. Practice those simple words that you have, and try to remember the questions, how you make the question. You know how to ask a question. ما هذا? All right? So if perhaps you know someone who could speak a little bit of Arabic, and you yourself, you want to learn a word, you could just ask the person, you hold the object or point to the object and you say, what is this? You say, ما هذا? ما هذا? All right? ما هذا? What is this? And if you think it is something, and then you could say, ahadha, is this? And you use a word, whatever you think it is. And then the person will either tell you na'am or la, and tell you what the word is. All right? So inshallah, I hope inshallah that you would practice. Remember, practice is very important. If you do not practice, then you will not be able to speak. If you want to speak, then you have to practice. Who am I going to practice with? Who are you going to practice with? Well, that is a very good question. If you have a brother or sister, inshallah, you could practice with them. If you don't, maybe you have a friend that you want to call, you could call them and ask them and practice. But you have the Quran. The Quran is your teacher all the time, no matter what your level is. The Quran is your teacher, and the Quran is where you will find information. Whatever you're looking for, it is there in the Quran. If you want to learn Arabic grammar, it is there in the Quran. If you want correct pronunciation, it is there in the Quran. If you want to get knowledge about life, it is there. Everything you want, it is there in the Quran. So the Quran is a very good teacher. It is the best teacher that you can get. You could listen to the recitation from someone, follow, and you yourself, you practice. Okay? Then you may come across one or two words and you need to know what it is. You can check it up, call somebody, or check the translation of the meaning, and that will help. And you should start perhaps maybe with Surah Al-Fatiha. Try to look at the words and make sure you know all of the words. And inshallah, as I'm talking about that, I would like for you to go back now, maybe tonight, look at Surah Al-Fatiha and look at some of the things that I talked about here tonight, and see if you can find nouns. And if you think that the word is a noun, you don't guess, of course, you will have to justify why you say this word is a noun. All right? And in Surah Al-Fatiha, you will see they have words. Maybe you may have alif lam, you may have a preposition coming before, but of course right now you may not know the prepositions. It might be a little bit difficult. But if you look at some of the other surahs or surah, you'll be able to see words maybe with tanween and so on. Like for example, you have narun hamiya, right? And you have naran sayasla naran. You have the word lahab, Wailul likulli humaza. Wailun, you have tanween there. You know, words like that and so on. So you could look any part of the Quran, open the Quran, any page, and look for nouns. Okay, and look for those nouns, the three things that we talk about. Perhaps you may not be able to look to identify the noun for the three things, but at least the two, tanween and alif lam. And inshallah, as the days go by and as the lessons we continue, inshallah, you will be able to recognize nouns, and you will also be able to understand the rules on the rules of grammar, and you'll be able to formulate. Remember, this is only the first session. All right, today is only the first session with regards to the actual rules of grammar. What we have done previously were just simple rules of reading Arabic. All right, and so now we are starting into the rules of grammar. Tell your friends about this course, inshallah. It is a very beneficial course, and inshallah we'll continue every week with the Arabic lessons. And if you also want to have a live class, you want to join a class, I have classes. I have a class at the CLL, that's the Center for Learning Language in the University of the West Indies. You could join that class, or if you want to come to Karoni Masjid, we also have a class that has started on Sundays. We have different timings from 6 to 7, and then for our next level from 7 to 8. Any one of these classes. And these classes, they started just recently, and if you want, you could start from this Sunday, inshallah. I want to thank you very much. شكرا كثيرا لمطالعتكم ولمشاهدتكم على هذا البرنامج، وإن شاء الله سوف نلتقي بكم في الأسبوع القادم. I want to thank you very much, and inshallah next week I will see you right here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.